My name is Andrew Duarte.
And I'm his wife, Melissa, and we've been together for almost 25 years. And we have 3 young boys. We've got Rocco, who's 10, and Ike, who's turning 9, and Victor, who's 7. Today, we're a happy, healthy family of 5. We're lucky that we've got 3 healthy boys, but we required quite a bit of help to get here.
It's hard to know how much you can love another human being until you have children of your own. To love something with every fiber of your being and have that person be in such jeopardy and to be in such danger.
You do what you have to do to survive and to help your children survive because you love them that much. Our first pregnancy was our first introduction into how delicate pregnancies can be.
You know, it was tough. It was a really tough experience.
He went into respiratory distress and required surfactant, and he ended up having to stay in the NICU for 10 days, so it was really hard as a family to go home without our baby. With the second pregnancy, it was easy, like the typical taken for granted fairy tale of a pregnancy. And then with our third, it was a life and death situation. With Victor, unfortunately, the pregnancy was just very difficult from the beginning. From my first ultrasound, which found a blood clot, we knew that it was going to be a struggle. And so there were multiple episodes of me having to go into the hospital and receive additional care, not knowing whether or not the pregnancy would be viable. I was, 16 weeks and was told that my baby wouldn't survive and possibly I wouldn't survive. And it turned into a devastating experience of a pregnancy.
I was not at all convinced he would make it. I knew he was tiny, and I knew you had had a really rocky pregnancy to that point. And when it all kind of came to a head, when we had him, I was really scared. They took you to the operating room, and I remember having a talk with the NICU staff, and they said, do you want us to do everything? And I said, I want you to do everything and more, save the baby. I remember waiting, and I was optimistic they would save my wife. I thought it was kind of up in the air with how Victor would, do. And I remember when they came around the corner, when I was in that waiting room, and they had him and they were bagging him, and he was this little tiny thing. I was amazed.
I don't think people understand the miracle that happens for these high-risk pregnancies, these moms who need additional help, these babies who go to the NICU and live there for a long amount of time, and it is intense, to say the least. It was such a struggle to have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old at home. This is where the support was so important. Our family and friends made our meals for us. They watched our children so we could visit our newborn in the hospital and be there when the doctors and nurses talked about his care and his plan. You're on guard at all times. You really feel at any moment your baby can be taken. And that's a terrible, vulnerable position to be in. You have to just get through the day. Just get through the hour sometimes, or the minute. It was weeks until we got to hold him, which is one of those things that people take for granted when they have a healthy pregnancy. They say the skin-to-skin contact is vital to bonding with your baby and for them to get to know you. And for a very long time, our baby lived in an isolette, and the most we could do was change his diaper. And this was actually his first diaper that he wore, and it was too big. He swam in this. And so when we had to change it, we actually had to fold it down 2 times before we could wrap it around him. And so that's the size he was. He was just so tiny and hooked up to tubes and intubated.
Yeah, we could put my wedding ring around his upper arm. It would slide all the way up to his shoulder. We were so lucky to have the March of Dimes staff and team for that support.
What was great about having a NICU family support coordinator there is that she had been through it before.
It's crucial to have someone help you get through that because, I'm in healthcare and I wasn't prepared for that. I had no idea what that was going to be like.
And having someone there who was out on the other side, it helped us to realize this was going to pass. With Victor being in the NICU for 189 days, he's a fighter.
It's hard to process because when you're going through all of it, you're kind of in survival mode. You're just trying to make sure you can get through the day, get through the hour, make sure he's doing okay. And then I guess that's why it's so emotional, like when you look back. I remember the day we finally got to say goodbye to the NICU and say goodbye to his nurses and the team. It was just a beautiful thing.
Thanks to modern medicine and a lot of the research supported by March of Dimes, I'm alive and my 3 children are alive. And if it weren't for them,
that may not be the case. March of Dimes was an integral part of Victor's care and making sure that he made it home. We are now on the other side of all of the craziness that happened with the births of our children, and to be here now, I'm the proudest father in the world.
It's really important tonight that we raise the critical funds that help to ensure other moms and babies get the support that is needed, and we're hopeful that other families won't have to go through what we went through. By raising money for research and support, we can really make a difference tonight.